Good morning. It is currently 8:37 a.m. and I posted an Instagram post last week, and it was like Jeopardy funeral edition, and one of the questions was something about a safety coffin. And a safety coffin, if you don't know what it is a coffin that was used to prevent premature burials. So if you buried somebody who actually wasn't dead, there were devices or mechanisms in the coffin that the person could, if they woke up or whatever, could use to signal that there's somebody alive in this coffin and you could rescue them and whatever. And I've been thinking about it ever since then, just because I think it's such a um, like, how do you not know somebody's really dead thing? But we're also much further along than when those were in use. Anyway, so I looked up today a little bit more about them, and I guess they came about during the 18th and 19th centuries. And I think it was because people were afraid during the cholera epidemics that people were going to be buried alive. And so, which that's actually got a word, it's called taphophobia, the fear of being buried alive. Anyway, so I did a little more digging, and in the research, I found a news article that's short, but it's fascinating, and I want to read it to you. And it's from December 19th, um, 1899. It's called "Many Deaths in Grave: Startling Statement from the Extent of Premature Burial." Okay, members of the Academy of Medicine. This is December 19th, 1899. Members of the Academy of Medicine were startled tonight by an uncanny declaration made by Dr. Henry J. Garriggs. Quote, "Those who have made a special study of the question assert that out of every 200 coffins put underground in this country, the occupant of at least one of them is simply in a lethargic state and is buried alive," he said, unquote. The Academy met to discuss the subject of premature burial and to witness the workings of a, quote, graveyard life-saving apparatus, unquote, recently invented by Count Michael de Karnicki, Chamberlain of the Emperor of Russia. As a prelude to the discussion and a general demonstration, Dr. Garriggs read a paper dealing with persons who are buried alive. He further asserted that decomposition of the vital parts is the only irrefutable and reliable sign of death. He continued, quote, "Our legislation concerning burial is all in favor of the survivors, and not a thought is given to the possibility of apparent death. It is left to laymen who happen to be present when a person ceases to breathe to declare him dead. As a matter of fact, many physicians do not even glance at the bodies of their patients, but sign the certificates of death on the report of friends or strangers present at the supposed death. It should be made a crime to do anything to the supposed dead that would cause injury or pain to a living person before the certificate is signed," end quote. The life-saving apparatus is composed of a tube 4 inches in diameter resting on the coffin and connected. This is talking about the safety coffin, obviously. The life-saving apparatus is composed of a tube 4 inches in diameter resting on the coffin and connected to the other end to a triangular metallic box containing signals. The metallic box alone is visible above the grave, and other parts are buried in the ground. A metal rod passes through the axis of this tube into the coffin and is placed in communication with the signals of the metallic box at its upper end. Should a movement of the buried body take place, it would displace the ball, and a general and simultaneous action takes place. The box is opened, and the signals, bell, flag, and shining ball are placed in movement or are displayed. And the first thing first thing I thought was like, what if nobody's around and all that, all that happens? Anyway, it's it's interesting. Anyway, just wanted to share. Enjoy your day.